Welcome back to MVGA Podcast. Here at Make Veterans Great Again, our mission is to reach out to fellow brothers and sisters in arms to conquer our mental health together. Just a reminder, you are not alone. I would like to introduce Cody from BudBros today. Thank you for being on the show, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. So tell me a little bit about your childhood.
So I'm a local, born and raised kid. Went to elementary school, high school, middle school here. Just very local, born and raised. Is there anything specific?
Yeah, like what? Damn, I ask this question every time, and I've never had that question back. So now you just stumped me. But no, so tell me about your childhood. Do you feel like it was a good childhood? Any traumas you went through? What about your parents? Are they still together?
Yeah, my parents are still together.
Okay, so what was it like growing up? Did you play sports?
I dabbled in sports. I get really into stuff quickly, but I also get really out of stuff quickly.
Okay.
Right, so did a little baseball, did some wrestling in middle school, and then stopped sports completely. I started smoking at a young age, right? So
Okay.
stopped playing sports and then really just started working.
You stopped playing sports in high school or after high school?
In high school.
Okay. And how did you feel like you stopped for any reason, or you just got tired of playing and wanted to have more fun?
I was always outside, right? So I got like really heavy into skating. So then to me, I would rather go do that. So I actually kind of stopped going to school,
Okay.
doing the skating thing, and then just picked up a job at a local pizza shop, and then just wash dishes.
Okay. Were your parents in your life growing up in high school?
Yeah.
So were they okay with you skipping out on school, or did they not know?
I feel like, well, they knew, right? But I didn't really, I guess, give them the option,
Okay.
right?
So are you an only child?
No, I've got two sisters and a brother.
Okay. What did you do after high school?
So after high school, I went to Tech Trade College,
Okay.
UTI, got my degree from there, and then was working on cars pretty much up until I started BudBros with my brother-in-law.
Okay. So what made you get into cars, though?
So my dad bought me a car probably when I was 13, right? And then they just had it there in the backyard, and when I got money from working my job, I could put it towards the car. So I was just always at a young age into cars, and it was something that I could do with my dad. So then I just took it from there.
Okay. What kind of car did he buy you?
It was a 74 Plymouth Duster.
I don't think I've even heard of that car.
Yeah,
But
super old car.
yeah, that's nice though. So that was like a nice little hobby that you had with your dad. Do you remember doing that a lot, or was it just like occasionally you got to work with your dad on the car?
It would be a lot. So like we would either work on his car or I had that one, and then he worked on pretty much every family car that we had. So whether it just be like the old holding the flashlight for him, doing that.
We
type
didn't
of
really
stuff.
have a choice.
Right.
Was your dad a mechanic, or are you just mechanically inclined?
No, he just doesn't. He'd rather like learn how to do it than pay somebody to do it.
Okay. Was he at least calm enough to let you hold the flashlight, or was he screaming
He had
at
his
you?
time.
Yeah. I feel like everybody does. So do you have kids yourself?
Yes.
Do you have them hold the flashlight yet, or are they too young?
No, not yet. My oldest one will help me. I don't really tinker with cars. I'll do like the dirt bike stuff.
Okay. What do you think you could take away from your childhood that you apply to being a parent?
Probably just I didn't really have that much of a childhood. Not that it was taken away from me. Like I said, I started working at a young age. So I always try to remember that they are kids, right, when they're doing stuff. So I don't want to force them to grow up, quote unquote, and tell them like, so like when they're doing something, running around acting like they're superheroes, I try to let them do that instead of say, hey, act your age or whatever.
Yeah, so you allow them to have fun instead of like crushing their imagination.
Right.
And why do you say you didn't really have much of a childhood? if
I
you don't
probably
mind.
misspoke when I said that. It's not that I didn't have much of a childhood. It's that I chose to grow up faster than what most people would. Like I got a job washing dishes at 14 while all my friends were still hanging out playing video games. Right? So it isn't that I had no childhood, it's that I just wanted to do more things, right?
So you got responsible sooner.
I guess you could say that.
Was that for your extracurricular activities or because you just wanted to be doing something and making your own money?
I always have to be doing something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you feel like you have ADD?
probably.
Okay. So how do you feel that getting a job at a young age helped or hurt you where you are now?
Well, it hurt me as far as like not really having the experiences, I guess, that most people would have. Like I didn't go to a prom or a homecoming or anything like that. Right. So I know that's when most people think of like their high school days, that's the stuff that they look back on. Right.
Okay.
Kind of look back on working and partying after work.
So you still had experiences. It's just
Yeah.
not the stereotypical childhood experiences.
I
that you
almost
would
like if I could go back and do it over again, I would go to school and like do the whole school thing and not work the job and just focus on like enjoying being a kid.
expect. And why do you feel that way?
I don't know.
Is it because now all you have to do is work, or all you can do is work?
No, I still see some of my buddies like going out and having fun, right? And I never have the time, never really had the time for it.
Right.
So it's just wishing that I had those experiences. The older I get, the less I can do, right? So
Right. Yeah, because now you have the responsibilities, and now you have kids that are there expecting you to come home and take care of them, provide for them. So yeah, I get that. Do you feel that working though set you up for success?
yeah, it definitely taught me how to like be on time, and gave me like a really hard work ethic. Like I can go in like start to finish a task, no breaks, all that, right? And it's just from being a kid and starting so young. Like I didn't have to take like a cigarette break or anything like that, right? Because I was 14, so just work all the way through a shift, right?
Right. You didn't need any of the luxuries because you were too young to experience them.
Right.
I think that's probably good though.
Yeah, it was good. It definitely helped me. Like I said, like focus and stay on task. Like, and it carried on into my later life because it's already been instilled in me from when I was a kid.
Right. I want to say, I don't know you or your friend group, right? But I want to say from your experiences and what you've told me so far, it's actually set you up to get to where you are now in life. And you're actually further, how do I want to word, like successfully owning your own business in a sense at a younger age than most people are because you've already have like, what, 6 to 10 years of work experience on them? Would you agree?
I mean,
Or
to be
disagree.
completely honest, I wouldn't agree, man.
Okay.
I mean, I do have a lot of work experience when it comes to that, but I didn't know anything about starting a business. I had just always dabbled in weed, and my brother-in-law is actually the brain behind everything, right? So he's got the idea and was able to put it together. So I do feel without that piece of the puzzle, I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself, regardless of the work ethic that I had.
Okay. All right, I see that, but I do see that your work ethic is what made sure it happened, right?
Right.
I mean, I also don't know your story. I'm trying to learn it.
Right.
But because you didn't stop and take breaks, you complete your task, right? Like a lot of people start a business, find a partner, and 3 years later they still have nothing to show for it, right?
Right.
You're here talking to me. We're D-list celebrities now. No, I'm just playing, bro. So, how'd you meet your wife?
My wife, I've known her since I was 13 or so. We went to the same high school together.
Okay. Are you guys high school sweethearts, or did you guys not get together till after high school?
We didn't get together until after high school.
All right. So tell me about BudBros. How did you and your brother-in-law start this up?
We were actually working, doing commercial HVAC. Right. We both worked HVAC at the time. I had a buddy that worked at a lab in California that was doing his own thing, and so I kind of always was messing with it here. And then my brother-in-law had mentioned that he would like to start a business and asked me if I knew anything about it. And since I was already dealing with it, I was like, yeah, let's actually try this. We went to like a cigar lounge, sat down, smoked a cigar, talked about what we had envisioned it to be, and then from there started it up. We worked a full-time job for first year and a half while we were doing it.
Okay.
I mean, we built our first lab out by hand.
That's awesome. I'm intrigued in your story, so I'm just listening.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, so what was your first envision like to what you guys are at right now?
It's pretty much on the same thing. I've always wanted. I was a patient before we ever started a company, right? And so I was always looking for the best quality meds for obviously the cheapest price. And so that's something that we've always tried to bring to the table is the highest quality that we can produce. And we're not out here trying to not to talk bad about it, but we're like not out here trying to make a bunch of money off of it, right? We're just trying to do a job, produce a clean quality product, and be way affordable compared to any of our competitors. And I feel like we're doing a good job on that.
Okay, and what do you feel is the key to that success without giving away the key?
Not forgetting where you came from.
Okay.
You know?
What do you do to help remind yourself where you've come from?
I don't know. I mean, like, it's just very easy for me to not change, like, who I am,
Okay.
right? So I don't go out and buy really super expensive clothes or anything like that, you know, like I stay wearing the same stuff that I used to. I don't go any place that I wouldn't have gone before, right? So I'm not out, like, you know, doing all that extra stuff that people do when they get any sort of money, right? And because I'm not doing any of that, I don't focus on that being like the reason why I need to make any money, right? I just need to make money to provide for the kids, right? Other than that, that's it.
Okay. And what do you see in the future for BudBros?
We're trying to grow bigger in Arizona. Like I said, me and Nick are both born and raised locals, so we want to take over the Arizona market, so to say, and then from there we want to, you know, go global or national for sure, right?
I believe it. Is this your brother?
No, this is one of my guys.
Okay.
Yeah, he's good.
What can you tell us about cannabis that will help you mentally?
I use cannabis for a lot of anxiety issues, right? I don't know why, but I tend to get anxiety very easy, right? And cannabis does help a lot for me for that, right?
What specifically helps? Like, what do you do? Indica, sativa? Do you know, or do you have like a go-to?
I feel like it's THC in general, right? Because I just smoke the vape pens mostly for like the quick relief, right? And it's usually all like a hybrid that I smoke.
Okay. Did you know that your emotion for anxiety can mimic the emotions for excitement? So a lot of times, especially for me today coming here, I always feel like I get this anxiety. But I got to tell myself, look, that the fact that I think it's anxiety, that's an intrusive thought. And I can't feed into that. I need to recognize that I'm actually just excited because I'm fucking talking to Cody from BudBros inside Arizona Organics while being sponsored by Total Roofing and Construction. There's my pitch. But yeah, so it's really hard for me to decipher the two because I feel like they walk the same fine line. But it's a matter of what I tell myself and what I allow myself to believe, right? So like if I tell myself I'm not anxious, I'm fucking excited, dude. Like this is a dream come true, you know? Stay humbled to who you are, but this is a dream come true. So
that is a really good way to look at it, man.
Yeah, life's just a matter of perspective, and it's so crazy when you like are able to take a step back and you realize like don't worry, don't get me wrong, I still stress and am anxious over these things, right? But at the end of the day, the things that I think are huge truly don't matter, right? What really matters is your family, but yourself. You need to put yourself first in your life and in your eyes, because everything that comes with you will fall apart, just like your family or your kids or whatever, for example, right? Like, if you aren't happy and whole, your kids won't be. If you're full of anxiety, your kids are going to be full of anxiety.
Right.
Do you do anything when you're feeling anxious to help yourself besides cannabis, right? But like when you catch yourself and you're like, okay, I'm feeling anxious, like, do you try to like step away from the kids or anything like that?
Yeah, I just try to like get myself in a complete silent situation, right? Just because it almost feels like the anxiety comes from overstimulation.
Yeah.
Right. So just being around and a lot of stuff going on. So I'll just try to get like into a place that's quiet and just take a couple seconds from there.
Do you meditate, or you just like the silence?
It's just nice like being quiet. Most of my day, like I'm up from 4:30 until like 11, right? So I've always got somebody around me asking something, or whether it be a kid or at work, right, or the wife.
Right. Somebody needs a little something from you, and you got to find time for yourself. So how do you manage your partnership at work, and since it's family, right? When things get tough, how do you guys work that out without damaging the family?
I mean, I guess it's really easy for us because we've known each other I've known my business partner since I was 12. Right?
Okay.
It's my wife's brother. Right. So.
Right.
I mean, if I tell him he's doing something that I'm not okay with, I just tell him, yo, it is what it is. I'm not okay with it, and then he'll say what he has to say, and it's done. Because we know like later that night we're gonna have family dinner anyway, so like everything has to be done right then and there and dropped.
So you're able to leave work at work, and all right, that's something hard for people, and I'd probably say myself as well. So that's pretty amazing that you can do that.
I could drop it, not think about it the whole day, and then bring it up the moment we walk in the door the next day.
All right. Well, that's good. Were you his friend or her friend first?
Her friend.
Okay.
Yeah, we were more like acquaintances.
Okay. And then, so you say you have a lot of anxiety, but to me you present this calm demeanor, right? But I guess that's just another way of saying don't judge the book by its cover, right?
Right.
Because for all I know, you're fucking just chilling right now, dude.
I called 3 people in the parking lot freaking out when I came here.
Really?
Yeah.
See, this is what I always forget. Like, I forget that my guest is going to be nervous, and it's not just me that's going to be nervous, right? So I need to do better at, like, calming us both down beforehand, right?
Right.
And I should probably start with, you're not nervous, you're excited. And those emotions run the same. So, but yeah, so right now, what was the best advice that any of those 3 phone of friends gave you?
No one has good advice these days, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the best advice, was my wife. She was just like, I'll pray for you right now, right? Said a little prayer, and then walked in.
Okay, well, let's take it there then. Are you religious yourself?
I mean, in hard times, I feel like everybody's religious, right? So I have been when as messed up as it is to say, when it directly benefits, which I'm not proud of, but I'm trying to get there.
Okay. Jelly Roll has a great song for that. And you're looking at me like, what's the name of it? Need a Favor, right? And I've never related to music like people have always talked about, or I've always heard people say like, oh my God, that saved me. It pulled me out of this, X, Y, Z. I don't feel like I ever truly related like that up until I started listening to Jelly Roll, his two songs, Need a Favor and Son of a Sinner. And I listened to him on repeat like a couple months ago. 'Cause I definitely was going through something. I couldn't figure it out. But it would bring emotions up on me. I'd let my couple of tears out that I was able to get out. I'd let it out. And then but it really dawned on you because he's talking about I only pray to God when I need a favor. Like, how am I going to expect anything in return if I'm only reaching out to you like that? And I was like, that really hit me. That resonated with me because I was like, I'm the same way, right? I was born and raised Catholic, stopped going to church when my grandparents passed away. Went to church a handful of times between then. And then about the last year or so, I started to go to church again by myself.
Right.
Past 3 months, I would say I have had the most growth and consistency when it comes to it. And my personal opinion and belief is that religion has nothing to do with church or a religion per se. It's all about your belief and your relationship with God or whoever you want to believe in, right? I believe in God, and my religion or my spirituality is that we just have a conversation and I talk to him, and basically I go to him and I just let him know, like, look, God, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm still bitter at my wife for XYZ, or I'm mad about this, I'm frustrated about that. And all my problems, I just tell him, like, look, I'm leaving these, I'm bringing these to you, and I'm leaving them at your feet because they no longer serve me. And for a while, I felt like, dude, what are you doing? Like, that sounds so, like, cheesy and lame and that. But I honestly have noticed a difference. Whether it's just my own personal belief or God actually exists, it doesn't matter what you think, it matters what I think.
Right.
And so I've noticed the change, and it's been very beneficial. And one of the women that showed up to my first Smoke Pit event, she told me that someone told her to just like scream God's name 3 times and just like talk, or just like say, are you here? Show me you're here, or something. And I'm like, okay. And then finally, dude, I don't know if you've ever felt this way where you need to cry, but you just can't cry, and it starts to turn into like anger and frustration or whatever the case may be. I was there, I was done, I was fed up. And I just started to say, like, so I tried it, I gave it a shot, and I did it like 3 or 4 different times, different occasions and that. And I feel like that truly kickstarted it. I don't know if that's just because it's resonating in my mind,
Right.
or if that's what truly kickstarted it, right? But it was very beneficial and helped out. So I'm very grateful she shared that tool or that method with me. So I don't know. Maybe you can take it away. Maybe you can.
I'll have to give it a try.
Yeah, it's all up to you, man. Like, you don't want to believe, but I'm here to share.
Right.
So how did you come up with BudBros? What the name? Because you're 2 buds and bros.
I didn't come up with it at all, honestly. He did. And when he said it, he was like, what about BudBros? And I was like, buddy, that's too good of a name that somebody has to like have it. Somebody's got to have it, right?
Yeah.
And we looked it up and nobody had it yet. I was like, buddy, yeah, we'll do it. And it makes sense. He's my brother-in-law, right? That's where like the bros comes into play. So
that's amazing. What do you feel like you should do moving forward to help out in the business? Or let me rephrase this. What do you wish you knew then that you know now to help you in business?
I guess that you have to be persistent no matter how you think you're making somebody feel, right? Because sometimes you can go into a dispensary, hey, Cody from BudBros, is there a manager here? And you can feel like you're bugging that manager, but you might actually not be, right? And it's really that being on top of it, being persistent, that gets your foot in the door, right?
So are you saying don't judge your initial feeling, right? Because we all are trained to feel a certain type of way.
Right. That and like almost don't, like always keep going forward. Don't take no for an answer. Right?
Okay.
You might come into like a dispensary. We might personally go into the dispensary one day and they'll say, hey, we can't carry your product, right? And then we go in next week and they could have just dropped XYZ, right? And now they actually need a product, right? And we're right there in their face. So now we get the chance just from being persistent.
Right. You only need one yes.
Right.
Like, you can get a million no's, but all you need is that one yes, and when you get it, it's worth it, right? It pays off. What is something that you had to learn the hard way in business?
That you can't trust everybody.
Even when they're smiling in your face?
Even. Everybody will come through and say they're the nicest person ever, but if they can't, for the most part, people will, if they can, try to get the best of you. Not even if it's intentional, but everybody always wants the best for themselves. And so most of the time that means the worst for you.
Right. And I do believe people don't intentionally do that, but at the end of the day, we got to remember we're not their business. They're their business. So they are always going to have their best interest at heart. Even if it means to us, we may feel like we get effed over, fucked over, or whatever, but it doesn't mean that they're intentionally doing that to us. That's something hard to deal with regardless, though. You know, rejection's hard. So that's all.
Right.
It's rejection, right? And then when you feel like they won and they got something over on you, it's just like, at least in me, it fuels this inner fire, like this rage where I just want to go Hulk and just destroy things. And like, okay, you fucked with me, I'll get the last laugh, right?
Right.
But all that does is hurt me. So I'm personally trying to work on how you're presenting yourself is personally how I'm trying to fucking get, dude. I just want to be like all zen and happy.
Shit. Yeah, it takes some time. Like I try to just, once I'm off of work, just not focus on anything. I try not to make like any plans, right? Obviously this was planned out, but
Right.
I feel like doing that, then it's always just, it lets me be calm. I don't have to have any anxiety about being somewhere next or anything like that, right? So
That's a good point, because my wife, she just constantly needs to be doing something, even when we're at home, and she's like basically following behind our 3-year-old, cleaning up after her.
Right.
And I'm not like that, because I'm like, you're just gonna clean this mess up again. You're just gonna get anxious over it. Like, just let's do it all at once, one time. And so it's very hard trying to see eye to eye and compromising with one another. So
Right.
like, where we don't leave the mess all day, but we're not chasing around her all day, where like you put one thing away, 2 more things come out. How do you and your wife mitigate that?
So I try to make all the kids like play in their room, right? That way I don't have a mess throughout the whole house to clean up. And then, yeah, I'm very, like my kids are 13, 9, and 5, right? And then I've got a 3-year-old, so like the 5-year-old to the 13-year-old all help clean, right? So I almost have like a chore list going for them, right? And then that way it takes a little bit of stress off the wife, right? And then we just have to come through and pick up all the stuff, or not even pick up, but just clean the stuff, right?
Yeah, because when my older kids, they help out, you still have to go behind them and finish the
Right.
job, but at least they take 75%
They
of it
knock
away.
off a good percent of the work, you know.
Yeah.
We've got 3 dogs, a lot of dog hair.
Oh, shit.
So the oldest one, I'll be like, hey, you sweep the floor, right? He'll sweep the floor, and then I've just got to come through and get like the corners, right?
Right.
So it helps a lot.
Are you on your phone a lot after work once you're home?
I am, unfortunately, because I'll sit there on my phone for hours and just swipe, right? Just like on YouTube Shorts, swiping.
It sucks you in.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And your wife doesn't yell at you for that?
No, because she'd be on her phone too.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Your kids are older, so you guys can be a little bit more
Yeah.
independent in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so like the kids get home. I mean, I might hop on video games, right? So like I'll hop on with our 9 and our 13-year-old, right?
Okay.
Our 5-year-old's got a Switch, so he'll hop on the Switch or he'll watch TV. And then, and this is late at night, right? So like we'll get home, we'll clean, we'll do homework, we'll eat. And then at night, like when it's rest time, like then we'll break out the games and everything. And she'll usually hop on her phone or whatever, and she'll scroll. If I'm not playing video games with the boys, I'll get on my phone and scroll.
Are you an Xbox or a PlayStation?
I play on PC.
Okay, neither. What do you play?
All right. So I've got a PlayStation. So we've got the PlayStation 5. I've got the PC, and I've got the Xbox. But it's because you can't. They're just now making it like where it's all cross-platform.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if I want to play Grand Theft Auto, I can't play unless I have the Xbox. Right, because you can't play computer with Xbox on Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
But then if I want to play Call of Duty, I can play on the PC. And it just allows me to do more stuff. I still play on controller. I don't do the keyboard and mouse. It's too much for me. But like I do like the little stream board so I can talk shit to the buddies.
What do you mean by the stream?
Like a little, it's called a stream deck, and then you can hook up different sounds to it, right?
Okay. So kind of like this.
Yeah, essentially. But I'll have, I've got like a sound looper, right? So like I'll record their audio, and then I'll play it back to them.
Oh shit.
Yeah, right.
All right. Was that just a hobby you picked up to talk shit, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always been
You
like
are
really,
dedicated.
really competitive, right?
Right.
Oh, I did it all. I switched to PC just to be able to talk shit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of, is it like an Xbox or PlayStation controller, or is it a
I play
different
on
one?
an Xbox controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. You told me earlier that you started smoking at a young age. Do you feel like that is positive or negative for you?
It's crazy because I was thinking about this in the car today. I've got a 13-year-old, and I started smoking weed younger than him. And so I was trying, not that I would ever do it, but in my head I was like, like it would be wild picturing like my kid smoking right now. Like, because I smoked with adults when I was his age, right? It's like I would never, my kid can't smoke until he's 18. Not that I think it has any negative effects, but I want him to be able to enjoy his life without it before he picks it up. And if he chooses to do whatever, that's on him, right? But
That is crazy because our oldest, she's 15, right? She's in high school. And right around the time I started drinking, bro.
Right.
And I'm like, there's no way.
you gotta start thinking about stuff like that, and it gets like really crazy.
It
right?
is crazy because I was like, I know what I was doing at your age, but to me, you're too innocent. You're too much of a kid still. You're too much this.
Well, 15, she's getting ready to drive in a year, right?
Yeah,
so then
dude.
it's like, you're like, my kid's a kid to me, right? So
Right.
then it's like, dude, in 3 years, you're gonna be behind the wheel of a car.
So is your kid a freshman or an 8th grader?
He's in 8th grade.
Okay. Ooh, high school next year. You ready for that? You're getting old, dude.
I am.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's crazy.
So 18, why 18? For them to smoke.
I just feel like for the legal purposes, right? Then he can get his med card if that's what he chooses to do, you know.
Are you okay with drinking?
I don't drink at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's very beneficial.
It's not, I mean, I don't have any problems against it. I used to drink like when I was a kid.
Right.
Around the 15, 16.
Yeah, I quit drinking myself the end of last year. So it's been beneficial for me because to me, drinking only brings out my demons, right?
Right.
Before I lose my train of thought, I wanted to ask you this a little bit ago. Do you feel, I don't know if you can even figure this out yourself, right? But do you feel like you have the cause of your extreme, or not extreme, but having frequent anxiety is because you started smoking at a young age, so you always had something to go to or cope with that would change your mindset in a little bit, and then so now when you don't smoke right away, you have more anxiety because you didn't grow into using natural tools or learning a natural way to cope. Did that make sense?
Kind of. And I guess I'll try to answer it as best as I can. I don't. So I wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, roll out of bed, immediately take a dab, right? Get dressed for work, take a dab, make my way to work, smoke, go in and work, right? And then I'll smoke frequently throughout the day. Like I'll have smoke breaks. So like I still have anxiety even when I am high.
Okay.
Right? So it's not just like a weed, even though weed does take it away for me, right? Like I still get anxiety when I'm high.
So like two things here. One, maybe that's not anxiety. It's like you're excited about whatever you're working on or about to do.
Maybe, yeah.
Or two, do you feel that you're potentially dabbing a little too much? Have you ever felt that anxiety, like you had a little too much?
I have only a few times, and it was after like long tolerance breaks,
Okay.
right?
Is the feeling of anxiety the same if you can recall it?
No, way worse. Right. Like when I over smoke, it's a way worse anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so my last guest, Brady, I believe it was, he was telling me that he had a doctor that told him to choose prescriptions or cannabis. He chose cannabis. And I was like, well, first of all, I want to find a doctor like that because I want to go through the process and see the recommendations, right? But he said he was recommended to start take an edible, smoke until the edible kicks in, and then maintain that edible high throughout the day, and that's how it would be considered a medicinal dose.
Right.
Would you agree with that from your knowledge?
That sounds like the best way to do it if you were going to use cannabis to do it.
Okay.
Would be to try to maintain a certain level. That way, especially for anxiety, that way you have like a base, right? So you can get like a baseline reading of how you feel, how your emotions are, and then you know that. And then from there you can like tinker with it, right? Smoke a little more, smoke a little less, see what keeps you there. But I feel like that way you would be able to know when you actually smoke too much.
Okay.
Right? By just keeping like a clean baseline, like level of high all day.
Okay. So with BudBros, what kind, do you have all? What's your product line?
Concentrates. We have like pre-rolled joints and pre-rolled blunts as well.
Okay. I saw was it a Tigar?
Yeah.
Did those things they look fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me what life is like outside of work and home. Like, what do you do anything other than play video games or scroll on your phone?
Yeah, like I said, I get into hobbies like really heavy, right? So like I ride dirt bikes with the friends. I ride mini bikes with a different group of friends, right? And they'll do like the little street takeovers where like 50 of them ride downtown, right?
Okay.
So like we'll do that stuff. I'll fly drones with a couple buddies. I've got like buddies that I'll go shooting with, right? So I do a lot of stuff.
Where's your favorite outdoor place in Arizona?
Probably this place up in, I want to say it's up near Prescott. My dad used to take us. And I believe, I wouldn't know the actual name of the location. But it's just very outdoorsy, tall pine trees, right? And then there's actually like this waterfall river spot that he used to take us to.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Where do you like to ride dirt bikes at out here? Do you ride track or just free ride?
Just free ride. We'll do like a little bit of street and then like mountain over off of like Lake Pleasant.
Okay.
Right off, like I live close enough to there, you know.
All right.
So we'll just take off from the house.
Yeah, my brother's huge into dirt biking.
Yeah.
He convinced me to buy a dirt bike when I moved out here, and second time I rode it, I crashed it and had grade 5 AC joint surgery. So, yeah, now we're here.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fun. I just haven't gotten back on a dirt bike because I just don't want any more pain, to be honest.
Right.
So, do you have any saved rounds? Anything I missed that you'd like to discuss?
No. I mean, really, just like the new product line. If
yeah,
that's
can you tell
something
me
we
about
can
this
touch
again?
on. Yeah, we are. We are a local concentrate company. For the longest time, we were only C-cells. So we were just doing C-cell cartridges. From there, slowly got into doing our own concentrates. We don't white label any concentrates. We make our own concentrates in-house. And then from there, we were able to expand into like the pre-rolls and the pre-roll hemp wrap blunt. I say blunts, right? But it is a hemp wrap. It's not tobacco. And then now we're getting ready to launch these disposables, which are pretty nice because they aren't like any disposable on the market. These ones connect together so you can mix and match flavors, which is good for the consumer and then good for us because you get more flavors. You know?
Right. So you're telling me it's different because we'll say these are the pens, right? And they connect like this.
Yeah.
You're able to hit them both at once.
So it's flat on one side with magnets and then curved on the other. So when you put them together, it actually looks like it makes a full device.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I look forward to trying these. Where can these be found?
They aren't even out yet.
Where can your brand be found? What's the main dispensaries out here in Arizona?
We can be found right here in Arizona Organics.
Okay.
And we are based out of Arizona Cannabis Society in El Mirage.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's our home base. All of our stuff is there. And then we sell at a bunch of dispensaries across the valley.
Okay. And when can we expect these pens on the shelf?
These will be hopefully on shelves by next week. If not next week, early the week after.
What is your favorite product of your own?
This right now is actually, that's my favorite combination of everything that we've got, right? But I really do like the pens just for ease of use, right?
Okay.
I'm always doing something. I'm always out and about. You can't really bring a Puffco into a restaurant with you or anything like that, right? So I always have the pen. It's the thing I like the most, and it's the thing I'm excited about the most. We we are a small local company. It's just me and my brother-in-law and my father started it, and then we've got 6 or 7 guys that we've known for a good while, all family friends and everything. And we're taking home awards with our distillate carts, so.
That's amazing. I had a question, do you grow the flower yourself?
We don't grow any flower. No,
Okay.
So we've actually, we've done recently a partnership with High Grade, where we buy their flower, use it exclusively, and then Tigars and co-brand it.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, so if you don't have anything else, I'd like to end the show by making you stand up and give me a hug. And so I appreciate you, Cody. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks, bro.
For sure, bro.
Appreciate you. Nice to meet you.